Who thinks it's attractive for a man to be loyal? Raise your hand. Who's think it's attractive for a man to be loyal? Cool. Who here knows a man who's had sex with women who wasn't loyal? Whoops. Whoops. Would it also behoove him to be more attractive?
I honestly,
after everything you heard here today, really don't think
I'm going to stand 10 toes down on this. Yeah. The attraction, I get what you're saying as far as women want to be attracted to men, but it's a different level of attraction. It doesn't necessarily mean he's the perfect bodybuilder, perfect physical guy. Attraction is has a different meaning for women.
So let's say be the funniest, most charismatic, in best shape version that's professionally viable.
I'm going to tell you the secret sauce
and competent.
My opinion, the secret sauce is have some emotional intelligence.
Again, while I totally understand that having emotional intelligence would make you an incredible partner, incredible husband, if it incredible father, I totally understand that. I totally understand that. But that is not why women want to have sex with you.
That is not true. You can get into a woman's head.
Not initially.
She won't even talk. She won't even talk to you.
But she might not want to have sex with you today, but she might.
But I'm going to tell you, like the key to success, in anything is delayed gratification. And people are not patient about this.
Let's not be in a relationship. Let's be outside of the relationship. Let's be two people who've never met each other. You just met the dude and it's emotional fucking maturity. That's the reason why she's going to have sex with him. No, it's not. It's just not true.
Are we talking about like a fling, like a one night
we're not talking about fling. We're not talking about fling. We're not talking about substance. We're not talking about one night stands. We're talking about the beginning. We're just talking about the beginning. And in the beginning, the idea that emotional intelligence is the reason why women are going to sleep with men is hokum. There's no way you can believe that.
You are saying things vague. Okay. It depends on what you're specifically talking about. If you're talking about a guy just getting laid, it's a different conversation.
Relate or anything. In the beginning, getting laid, in the
like
beginning,
Genesis beginning?
In the beginning of the relationship, when we first meet each other, you're not trying to sleep with a guy because of his emotional intelligence. In the beginning, you're not. If you believe that, listen.
No. What I'm saying for me, and I can only speak on my behalf, is you got to do a little bit more than just show up with a cute smile to get me to sleep with you.
But those things, so relevancy, competency, humor, charisma, pre-selection, social proof, those kinds of things. Access, those things.
That's summarizing emotional intelligence.
Correct. Well, no, not exactly.
It is.
I don't think relevancy and competency are summarize emotional intelligence. But what I'm saying is they do summarize attraction. And my point is, and also physical attraction, like physical physique, etc. Those things are the reason when I asked the question, what I got was, here's what would make a good partner, and here's what would make a good husband, and here's what would make a good dad. And what we were asking is, what makes you want to have sex? And these are two different questions.
Yes,
and because women don't grasp that question, this is why it's so confusing. But
a guy can have all that and still be a douchebag, and right away you can clock the fact, okay, you're good looking, your status, and
good looking douchebags. And women don't have with good looking douchebags.
Yeah, like beta chicks. Yeah, but like not a woman. Not a woman.
Women will have sex because they're horny. Women will have sex because they're lonely. Women will have sex. I mean, let's talk about why women will have sex.
Correct.
If you want to answer the question.
And women will not have sex with the bottom 60% of men. Correct.
It depends.
No, it doesn't depend. That's the data.
I'm telling you, it depends on the woman.
Some women, I'm sure,
it really does.
Will give enough of a chance.
I feel like women will have sex with the one who gives them a hard time to get it.
Okay, well, that sounds a lot. That sounds a lot different from emotional intelligence. That sounds like pre-selection and social proof and being relevant and competent. That seems like a lot of very different answer from emotional intelligence.
It is emotional intelligence. He's got to have game.
Game is not emotional intelligence.
So I think there needs to be a separation between those.
I think the two biggest factors that kind of influence whether a woman will be intimate with a man are these two things. I'm attracted to you sexually,
aroused by you,
and also, do you have money?
Thank you, Myron. God, I did not expect that. That is beyond. Like I was making a point, and she went beyond my point.
Welcome to the dark side.
Wow,
haven't I? No, I still disagree with you guys on plenty. But like, if we're just talking about those two things, I think it is hard for women to kind of say that yes, those things matter. But we've kind of already said they do matter a little bit, right? Now that's I think where women kind of bleed into this is they think love relationships, and that that's a totally separate thing. That's where things like emotional intelligence and these things, that's when those things ping really, really high. You know, a woman will sleep for, you know, gain, money, whatever, like sexuality, whatever. But that those are not the things that keep her committed. Those
Agreed.
are not the things that help her fall in love. And yet, you know, we tend to answer that question from our own perspective, right? How we the things that we value, things like emotional intelligence and things like that. But I think that it's very tough for women to acknowledge that attraction does matter and that sexuality does matter and that liking your partner matters. And to your point, when I talk about these things, I like the word using attraction because it's more than just physical.
Right.
Yes.
When
agreed.
And that matters in commitment and relationships, right? But that's not the number one reason that you'll sleep with a dude.
So when I ask women, ladies, ready? Real quick. Who thinks it's attractive for a man to be loyal? Raise your hand. Who's think it's attractive for a man to be loyal? Cool. Who here knows a man who's had sex with women who wasn't loyal? Whoops. Being loyal is not attractive. I'm going to say it again. Being loyal is not attractive.
Wait, I don't know. I don't think that you measured that correctly. Like that's such a large leap that's a large leap to kind of connect those two dots together.
I've asked this question hundreds of times to hundreds of women, and they all say being attractive is loyal. And then I asked them, being loyal is attractive. And then I asked them, have you or anyone you know dated a man who wasn't loyal? And all of them said yes.
Okay, but the opposite of that doesn't mean that is still not
no,
attractive to women.
What it means is loyalty is not a requisite for attraction, but loyalty is a requisite for a good parenting household. It is a requisite for a healthy security. It is a requisite for a great relationship. It's a requisite for a good father.
To
long-term attraction.
Look, yes.
My point is, when I asked the question, I was asking what makes you want to have sex with someone, and loyalty is not what makes you have sex with a man.
No one said that.
Be attracted.
Yes, she just did.
We said loyalty.
Yes, loyalty does not make you want. Loyalty is not an attractive quality. It's a comfort quality. It's a quality that's tremendous in a relationship.
So I think when we talk about attraction, we have to separate two things: sexual attraction versus just attraction in general.
That's my point. So
let me clarify this because I make a clear distinction in all of the books I've written. Okay, there's a difference between attraction and arousal. Okay, and I try to separate it as best I can because people always mix up attraction with physical. What kind of attraction are we talking about? If you ask a woman what you want in a guy, 90% of the time she's going to say he's got to be loyal, he's got to love puppy dogs, he's got to have a good mom, he has to have kids in the future, he's got to have a good job, he's got to be funny, he's got to like Disneyland and rainbows and all this long-term stuff that she would see in a guy who would be a good long-term prospect for her to go into the future with and start a family with. Right. If you ask a woman, what body parts of a guy do you think I'd like really get you going, right? A V taper, he's got to have visible abs, visible serrates, he's got to have, big shoulders, he's got to have big guns. Like that, if you look at that, he's got to have a 10-inch dick, whatever it is. Those physical aspects are what get the blood flowing right there. So there needs to be a distinction between arousal and attraction. We keep just mixing them up.
Well,
like
I think that terminology makes it a lot clearer and probably easier for us to answer if you define it like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think we're all I don't think that any of us are actually really disagreeing on this. Yeah. I just think the language around it gets a little muddy.
Yes, my point is, most women most of the time are having sex with men and they don't know if the guy's loyal or not, and they're still having sex with them. So loyalty does not create arousal.
That's why I said it depends on what you asked the question in reverse, but to be more specific, but the way to easier answer that question for men would be, what are the reasons why women want to have sex with men? Is to understand that, because there's different reasons why women are out there wanting to have sex.
Right. No, correct. Yeah. But my point was, when women are surveyed about what the most attractive qualities in men are, they say reading astrology, gardening, multiple languages, piano playing, going to therapy.
That's a different question than sex.
No, but when we were asking the question, when the question was asked, they were literally asking what would make you want to have sex with a man, and they wrote astrology or astronomy. It's like ridiculous. No, this is not true. That's not why women do not want to sleep with men, because they speak multiple languages and they read. I read 45 books a year. Women do not give a shit that I read. I am an actual amateur astronomer. I can point to all Ganymede, Io, Callisto, and Europa, the 4 moons of Jupiter.
Some women find intelligence sexy.
I agree. Again, while I agree with that, while I agree with that, my point is, initially, for me to get to the point where they see that, they've got to already be attracted to me before that. And so my point is,